Today, I want to talk about Trenbolone Enanthate, which is one of the most powerful steroids currently in use within bodybuilding and, of course, within powerlifting and other athletic sports. Now, Trenbolone Enanthate was the first Tren that I ever used. It's a very, very good drug, but at the same time, it's one that I do not like and I would never use it again for many, many reasons. Trenbolone Enanthate, which is sort of similar to testosterone enanthate in the way it releases in the body, that it does peak within the first few days of injection, and then it is followed by a steady decline in levels for approximately around 2 weeks' time. One interesting note is that Trenbolone is actually a derivative of nandrolone, and it exhibits strong anabolic and androgenic properties, both of which are also very, very valuable properties for bodybuilding. If you have a look at some of the reports, especially from the likes of William Llewellyn, the Anabolics book, he gives an androgenic and an anabolic rating of 500 for each. Now, testosterone is 100 to 100. In the real world, the 500 to 100, it really doesn't make a huge difference. Both drugs play different roles within bodybuilding, and both of them exhibit their pros and cons in different ways. Trenbolone is actually unable to convert to estrogen. However, it does exhibit notable progestational activity, which may mimic estrogenic side effects given the right physiological conditions. The first time I ever used Trenbolone, it was actually Trenbolone Enanthate. Now, I haven't used Trenbolone since 2011. As I was saying earlier, I do not like Trenbolone. I don't feel good on it. It doesn't make me feel good the way testosterone does. With testosterone, I feel great. I feel mentally focused. I have energy, great sex drive, so forth. Trenbolone, it just doesn't do it for me. I feel awful. I'm also one of those people who does suffer from high blood pressure very, very easily on the likes of Trenbolone. Same for if I take Dianabol, if I take Anadrol, any of those sorts of drugs, my blood pressure shoots sky high. However, my blood pressure is manageable with the likes of DECA, testosterone, so forth, with obviously dose dependent. Now, a little bit of history is that slow-acting Trenbolone esters were first studied in 1967 during a series of experiments into synthetic anabolic steroids by Russell at UCLAF. And Russell did not specifically investigate Trenbolone Enanthate, although the drug would have remained an obvious possibility once Trenbolone was released, given the widespread application of steroid esters by the 1960s. The drug would not see the light of day for many decades, however, and was only first released for commercial sale in 2004. And of course, that was released by an underground lab. One of the greatest underground labs to have ever been around was British Dragon. Their version of Trenbolone was a Trenbolone, and that was 200 milligrams per mil. If you listen to likes of Dave Palumbo, who were obviously a huge bodybuilder in the 1990s, they used to go to Europe and they used to be able to buy a product called Parabolin, which was an actual pharmaceutical version of Trenbolone, and I believe that was 72 milligrams per mil each vial. And as Dave Palumbo stated many times, even a small dose of Tren, they had fantastic gains on that there, and it was one of the most powerful steroids, even in low doses. Now, if you contrast that to 2018, 2019, where you're seeing guys who are taking Trenbolone for the first time ever, and they're taking 3, 4, 500 milligrams a week, which is, they're the crazy doses. There's no point saying it any otherwise. A lot of the doses that you do see on steroid forms nowadays are absolutely irresponsible and are going to lead a lot of people to health problems and a lot of side effects. For a lot of people, that will happen. One of the biggest pros of taking Trenbolone is the explosive gains in strength. The strength gains are unbelievable. I used Trenbolone in conjunction with testosterone. I believe at the time I ran 500 milligrams of testosterone enanthate with, I think, roughly 300 milligrams of Trenbolone Enanthate. I can't remember the exact doses. You're going back, 7, 8 years since I last used it. The one thing I did like about Trenbolone Taken away from the negative side effects, one of the main things about it was it does pack on a lot of size and it does pack on a lot of muscle very fast. On the Trenbolone Enanthate, I did notice a lot of gains after about 4 or 5 weeks mark. Once it really starts kicking in, you really start to get gains from it. You don't get a lot of bloat, although you will carry bloat obviously with taking testosterone. But the Trenbolone tends to give you a very solid sort of gain, sort of feel to your muscle bellies. They certainly feel more dense and they just feel fuller. It's very good that way. Now, on the Tren cough, a lot of people will mention that they do get Tren cough. I don't know if it's only because I've only ever used the Enanthate esters that I never actually had Tren cough. Now, the Tren that I had was 100% legit. They were the genuine article. I just never had Tren cough. It was not anything that ever affected me. I don't know if that's more of an acetate version of Tren that does cause that side effect. It could be. Other main side effects that I did experience were insomnia, night sweats, very vivid dreams, nightmares. It also made me feel a lot more paranoid. It made me feel, in a gym, a lot more aggression, a lot more focus, a lot more stamina. You were pushing through far higher rep ranges. As I say, strength dramatically went up in a very short period of time, and you're able to push your body that much further. Another side effect I did have was my resting heart rate was increased, which I know does happen on steroid cycles, but I never really had it affect me as much as Trenbolone did. Shin pumps, that was another major side effect with Tren. I don't know what it is with some of these steroids. You go for a walk and you're near enough laying in the street in agony from shin pumps. Trenbolone did that massively as well for me. So overall, I've only ever used Tren within a bulking phase. I never used it within a cutting phase. As I say, I tried it a few times. I didn't really like it. It was always something that I came off after about 9 or 10 weeks. And I wouldn't want to go back to using Trenbolone. I think there's other drugs that are capable of producing similar effects to an extent. Overall, it is a good drug, and there's a reason why it is used worldwide by so many bodybuilders and athletes. Fantastic drug, but the side effects can be very crippling for a lot of people. That is one thing to watch out for. And of course, if you're going to take steroids, always get your blood work done. The doctors, keep your blood pressure in check and watch out for any major side effects coming down the road. Trenbolone is a heavy hitter when it comes to side effects, but it's also a heavy hitter in what you gain out of the actual cycle.